hurting each other, whether verbally or by your actions. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be abusive as in physical abuse, but you're mentally hurting each other. Why would you choose to remain in that
Well,
situation?
here is
Why would you be so empowered to recognize it for what it is and determine that it's not working out for you right now, and to choose to make the, I would say, mature decision to
well,
leave it?
all right. Here's and your answer to the question will be we have two schools of thought on that because you'd have the world view on the matter, and then you'd have the godly view on the matter. We talked about abortion the last time, and we talked about a few things. We're not going to go there, but I want to remind us that we did talk about that and how we handled it. We handled it from the biblical perspective of how the God view would be. Here is a woman named Goma. You are acquainted with the story,
Yes,
the Goma, right?
yes.
And so when you listen to the story of Goma, what you said a while ago, you know, it sounds good, and you'll be right to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. But in light of a biblical principle or a Goma that exists, when you think about that, how then should we operate along that? Should we operate along that line of a Hosea and Goma, or should we then take it in ourselves to say that it's not working out for me, so I'm not going to do this, bother with this no more?
So again, the working out is not just, so what she did was she left, you know, she left. And so from my perspective, she did exactly what she realized, that she wasn't being of service to her husband, and left. Yeah. uh, and I'm sure that at that point he would have felt rejected, and felt, but what the beauty of that story is that he went in search of her and reclaimed, he bought her back. And so, in the impact of it was his love, his divine love, his godly love, because if it wasn't for the intervention of divine inspiration, he may have said, well, I'm a proud man, I don't need her, she's gone, she's made a decision, she's gone her way, I'm gonna leave it alone. But because God, and he was obedient to God, he went after her, and he did more than just ask her, but through his divine love, he purchased her and brought her back home. And it could be that that was the big impact that it had on her, in that she realized that he still valued her, and
But
that
if
where
you,
she
it
was
would,
not benefiting her. And so, here, I mean, somebody else could have purchased her, but the fact that her husband went in search of her, he paid the price that was being offered for her and brought her back, made a
well,
big impact.
well, we are having lots of those situations now within our ranks right now. A lot of trying to purchase back some of our wives situation. Lots of it going on, right? And it's not as simple as just, we're saying it. It sounds good. This woman not one time got pregnant for somebody else. It's not Hosea's child. Not two times, And so she come back with different pregnancies, and it's not his child. He's not trying to find out because he knows it's not his child because he never leave pregnant. But when she come back, her belly big, all right? And so to look at that story in light of what we said earlier, when we talked about the idea if it's not working out, when you as and we are just, it's not man versus woman when we have the conversation. It is this. Your first response was that she should leave him if he's having a problem in the relationship. That's what is being taught these days, right? Now, the Bible's teaching would be, and lots of men do this too, you don't want to leave her, honestly. Lots of men is actually a Hosea. Until now, men have been a little bit not so tainted, right? But Ozzy would have gone back for her after having two kids, or three kids, for God knows who, because nobody knows who the fathers are. All right? And this is what is called upon men to do in circumstances like these. It's a hard sell, right? Not an easy thing to do. Because I am saying, if many women, if she knows say her husband see a next woman, look upon her a certain way, she vexed already and she walk and stamp her foot and kick him or something with her pointed shoes. You know, that sort of thing. But yet still he's supposed to, after she have two, three picnic, somebody else, sorry, a children, but somebody else should go purchase her back because she's so valuable. This is where we want our men to be. No, our biblical principles suggest that we should be there. And so when we have the conversation, it is within the hardness of our hearts that we operate, that we don't do those things. You know, and we can hear the narrative as we just explained a few things a while ago. For our listeners who are listening, I want to say welcome to the breakfast hour. We are having this conversation this morning. I hope you find it interesting. And for me, it's certainly a wholesome one, and I think a well-needed conversation to be maybe to have had for many times. You know, but thank you for staying and of course listening to this one. Lady Corley, you're saying something.
Of course, yeah. We're 4 minutes to the news, and so just being mindful of it. Again, want to add my quote of welcome to our viewers and our listeners. These are reality situations and circumstances, and the truth is that, you know, because the reports suggest that a lot of people are remaining, and the outcome is a lot of devastation. So you have the men who are turning to hurting their families and themselves. So
Yeah.
you have that the murder suicide cases, and so my submission would be, you know, before you get to a point where it's building and it's building to the point where you spoke about purpose earlier, that he believes that his purpose has been eliminated to the point where his existence no
Yeah.
longer warrants it.
Yeah.
And he's going to take out his whole family with him. You know,
Mm.
before you get to that point, you
Yeah.
know, um, go and seek help. Go and I agree with you that mental conditions have gotten so much worse these days, but I'm also very encouraged because we're now accepting mental illness as something that
Normal.
is is treatable, that you don't have to have a, a defect of the mind. It could just be that you need psychological attention,
Well,
as opposed
well,
to psychiatric attention. And so one of the things, certainly for me, if I may speak openly, is that COVID allowed people to break down the taboo that is often associated with a visit to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because it says that we all have circumstances that warrants or getting help, and don't wait until it becomes overwhelming and you're in
right,
such a a space of despair
right,
that you're going to take out the whole world. You know, when you look at the US and you see a lot of the school shootings, it's not just adults who are having these mental challenges, they're young
well,
people.
well,
And
here is,
and so once we recognize it for what it is, and I'm encouraged because we're moving in that direction to see it for what it is and creating the space where people should
well,
go, and
well,
then
this conversation,
this,
curly Karen, this conversation is a wide conversation we're having, right? Because what you did was to cross over in mental illness and it being taught as a practice, right? So we are seeing this happening today, where the psychologists that you would go to, that is no taboo anymore, would teach your young children to have two spirits inside of them is normal. And we should encourage two spirits, And so we now have to be careful. This conversation can be anything or go anywhere.
Mm.
Balancing, yeah,
Yeah.
we are cognizant of that, Lady Elise, that is news time.
I
But
remember my response until after the news, as I was
no,
reminded.
I think I'm just saying it's not a matter of risk. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just saying that when we think about the mental stability of humankind nowadays and where it is and what is being um, promoted, something has gone seriously wrong in some directions. So youngsters right now, young men, young women who are growing up. No, well, for me, you can't catch me again. If me never crazy last time, not crazy again, right? So that
Again,
I
I
have.
reserve my response until after the news, or maybe another
Yeah.
talk.
Well, all right. So that's where it is. But then we must be mindful that there are persons out there who are in serious position of
Absolutely.
power that are using those powers to corrupt our young people. But what I want to leave on the table that our listeners must understand that this conversation that we're having is being had with a mindset or a view of having a central theme of thought or school of thought or a point where we can reference this information. When we reference our information, we want to tell persons that this information that we're having is referenced in the book of God, the Bible. Right? So we're not referencing this anywhere. If you find any of the conversation that is not aligned with this, then you'll find it in Babylon, Baal, all of these other places. But what we want to say is that we want to reference our conversation in the Bible and the Bible alone. And if that's the rule that we are going to be applying here, so the school of thought, that is the worldview, should not affect the persons who are within God's church, because God's church should be the salt and the example of what others should see, and we not adopting what they are doing and then doing that within our ranks. I want to leave that as a disclaimer for everyone who's listening to this conversation this morning. And if you found it interesting, give us a like, a thumbs up, and of course, I think it's time for our news. Thank you, Lady Curly Karen, this morning for such a healthy discussion. I'm telling you, merciful Father, Savior divine, take the case, God, give me the pillar. That's how it works.
Good morning. Here are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I am Coralie Karen. 2-year-old hears for the first time. After successful surgery, Caymanian toddler J. King Truman made history this week when he heard sounds for the first time after receiving cochlear implants. The emotional moment, marked by J. King's cries of wonder, brings tears of joy to his family, including his grandmother, Taya Truman. Speaking from Miami, where the surgery took place, Taya shared her gratitude and emotions, witnessing her grandson's response to the miracle of sound. Dementia caregivers honored as unsung heroes. Dementia affects hundreds of Cayman residents, profoundly impacting caregivers and families. Dorothy Davis, chairperson of the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands, ADACI, shared her journey caring for her mother and founding ADACI to support others. The organization continues to raise awareness and provide critical resources for patients and their loved ones, acknowledging caregivers as the true unsung heroes. Guadeloupe dominates Cayman in water disrupted match. Cayman's journey to the 2025 Gold Cup suffered a setback after Guadeloupe secured a commanding 6-0 win in the Nations League play-in series. Heavy rain turned the pitch into a waterlogged battlefield, pausing the game midway through. Despite Cayman's hopes, Guadeloupe emerged victorious, leaving the second leg as Cayman's last chance to turn the tide. Spotlight on Hollywood. A night to support Jasmine Hospice. The Harthill Theatre came alive with Oscar-worthy performances in Spotlight on Hollywood, a benefit for Jasmine, Cayman's hospice and palliative care provider. Directed by Eric Nicholson with choreography by Monica Lawrence, the show featured iconic songs from award-winning films performed by local talent, raising awareness and funds for this vital service. Newsmaker of the Week. Hotel worker strikes impact tourism in Jamaica. Strikes at several resorts, including Secrets and Breathless in Montego Bay, have shaken Jamaica's tourism industry. Hotel workers are demanding better wages and working conditions, with industrial actions spreading across the sector. The disruptions follow similar protests at Royalton Negril last month, prompting discussions about workers' rights in the hospitality sector. Justice Minister calls on JPs to uphold integrity over financial gain. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has urged justices of the peace, JPs, to honor their role as community leaders by prioritizing integrity over monetary compensation. Speaking at a sensitization session in Port Maria, Chuck reminded JPs of the true value of their service, emphasizing the importance of helping others over personal gain. Delay in sentencing of Daniel Rose killer. The sentencing of Coyote Sachel, who pleaded guilty to the brutal murder of 8-year-old Daniel Rowe, has been postponed to December 2 due to a missing medical report. Sachel's confession shocked the nation, with Prime Minister Andrew Holness urging Jamaicans to protect children and denounce such violent acts. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth coverage throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
SI
Join us for
ultrasound.
ASI Weekend, November 22 to 24, under the theme Reset, Revive, Renew. ASI, a community of Seventh day Adventist laymen and professionals, is committed to sharing Christ in the marketplace. On Friday, connect on Zoom with Pastor Baptiste. Sabbath morning, explore marketplace ministry. Then celebrate the divine service with Pastor Baptiste and witness the installation of our new ASI board members, followed by Sabbath lunch. In the afternoon, don't miss the major project launch and heart resuscitation training. On Sunday, rise early for the SDA 10K run walk at 6 a.m. Wrap up the weekend at 6 p.m. with a grand gospel concert, closing with an inspiring charge by Philip Baptiste. Come, reset, revive, and renew with us. Join us for ASI Weekend, November 22 to 24, under the theme Reset, Revive, Renew. ASI, a community of Seventh day Adventist laymen and professionals, is committed to sharing Christ in the marketplace. On Friday, connect on Zoom with Pastor Baptiste. Sabbath morning, explore marketplace ministry. Then celebrate the divine service with Pastor Baptiste and witness the installation of our new ASI board members, followed by Sabbath lunch. In the afternoon, don't miss the major project launch and heart resuscitation training. On Sunday, rise early for the SDA 10K run walk at 6 a.m. Wrap up the weekend at 6 p.m. with a grand gospel concert, closing with an inspiring charge by Philip Baptiste. Come, reset, revive, and renew with us.
Of course, there you have it this morning. Of course, our coming to notice board, and quite a few events and that are happening right here in the Grand Cayman Islands coming up. You know, ASI is having quite a bit of busy moment, Lady Elise. Lots of stuff going on with that. Of course, you know, ASI in association with the Cayman Island, with HSA and the Cayman Islands Fire Service is also, you know, putting on a, hosting a symposium. I'm training on the use of a defibrillator. You have any knowledge of that, Lady Elise? Mike, okay. I'm thinking, well, of course, this training is going to be held at the Georgetown SDA Church on the 23rd of November, for between the hours of 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the PM. I'm not, it's an afternoon Sabbath, it's a Sabbath afternoon exercise. And so persons from the community and different organizations can come out and from all the churches, you know, we want persons from the churches to come out and actually participate in this training exercise that will be taking place at this time at the Georgetown SDA Church on how to use that defibrillator. I'm not sure. The use of a defibrillator, Dr. K would have explained that on Friday a little bit. But for the purpose of our listeners this morning, and we are on this morning, Lady Elise, with the medical knowledge that you have, I am certain that you were able to tell us a little bit about the defibrillator, a little bit on defibrillation. What is it for? If it's not if not in details, but what is the
Take the
purpose of that?
heart.
Well, here is yeah, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, hold on. Here's what I'm gonna say. Well, more likely, Quelly Curran might be able to help us.
Well, not more than to say that it is to resuscitate the heart, as I was saying. So persons who have problems that need resuscitation, the
To the
defibrillator.
rescue! Here I come! That works. Yes. 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 Right. Well, and that shot could also stop the heart as well, right? I was just thinking. But anyways, here's the thing. People are trying to resuscitate somebody. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, CPR. Here's a man. He falls down on the beach somewhere. Beautiful women are around, and this man run come and then put doing mouth-to-mouth. All these lovely ladies there. I'm no worried.
But Michael, if the man is the only person trained to do it, because the truth of it is, you can actually hurt someone if it is that you do not
But I'm
administer it.
asking more women to get trained. Please, women, get trained in CPR. Mouth-to-mouth.
So it's not just the most part of it is knowing when to do it and coordinating.
Can I put a humble request in?
And even that you need to know how to do as well. I just wanted to also add in terms of the community notice board that Newland Seventh-day Adventist Church begins their evangelistic series with Pastor Vaughn Henry under
Ah,
the hope for the coming crisis. And it commences on the 23rd of November and goes through to the 7th of December. It's 7 p.m. nightly with 8:30 a.m. on Saturdays. Thursdays are rest night. So again, just to encourage persons to participate, to go out. This is certainly a community endeavor and invite persons in the community. These are end times. We are having a number of series to really boost our evangelistic endeavors to call back people to the source.
community notice board this morning is, we are trying to get so many
I
information. So
have one more, Michael. The Ebenezer Church is currently in their campaign mode with Power of Faith evangelistic series. It started last Saturday, November 16th, and continues until December 7th with Pastor Wilkie.
we're having a little bit of technical crossover, a little bit curly current with our or
Or feed.
yes,
Yeah.
it's doing
I,
something. All right, so let's see if we can make that correction. But anyways, you were saying about the Ebenezer SDA Church doing a series.
absolutely. So the series started on Saturday the 16th and will continue until the 7th. During
All right, so we are definitely having a situation here. So we're going to try to correct this, and when we come back, we will try our best to see if we can. If not, let's see if we can at least fix that for a minute. Of course, this morning we are on this morning talking about our community notice board. Of course, here's something that is definitely coming up currently current. On this one, it is the Maranatha SDA Church, of course, presents their music day on November. Sorry, did I miss the date on this one?
no, it's the
Let me catch
23rd
the date
at
on this one.
9
It says Music Day. I see November 2024, but I am not sorry. The,
23rd.
the creative writing on it, Curly
I
Curry,
believe I believe
creative
it's Sabbath
writing
the 23rd.
has shifted. Is actually the 23rd of November. I think we have some dates crossing over and clashing. 23rd of November, are actually having this music day at 2024. Of course, the king is coming. It is dubbed the king is coming, and of course, the main presenter is Pastor Orban Bob. Of course, will be the presenter at that music day, and of course, it promises to be a very very interesting uh, event. I believe that many souls will be blessed by it and from it. No doubt in my mind. This morning we are having a little bit of technical difficulty. We are trying to solve it, guys. So if you bear with us this morning, really, I don't know. We had this. We are having a little bit of tough flipping around a little bit. Not sure how to you know
The
we'll
beauty,
figure it out as
the,
we get. Hopefully, our listeners are not too disturbed by it. We're trying to get through. Yes, you were talking about Ebenezer's um
the
yes,
series.
technical difficulties we're having this morning, and of course, our engineer. Let's see if our engineer can actually have this rectified for us this morning. Thank you very much. All right, so we had a little bit of setback. You were talking about the Ebenezer Church. We're presenting a crusade. I think our listeners were actually we are at that point when we were a little bit having a little difficulty.
Sure. So just to say that the series started on Sabbath, the 16th, and will
Yes,
continue until the 7th of December nightly.
right.
The house presentation is done at the King's Church and on Sabbath at Georgetown, the Ebenezer Church on Sabbaths, but during the week, Sunday nights to Wednesday nights and Friday nights, it will be at the King's Church, and Thursday would be rest night. So again, we're encouraging persons to come out and to be a part of the campaigns that are going on. The idea is certainly to bring others to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. So, as much as you can, invite your friends, because the blessing that you want to receive, I'm sure they too will benefit from it.
So you're saying that the Ebenezer Church is having their crusade. It starts already, you said?
Correct. It started on Sabbath, it was launched on the 16th, and it will continue Sundays to Wednesday nights and Friday nights at the King's Church.
Did we
And then
have
on
a women's convention on the weekend? I'm thinking I remember something to that effect.
Pardon?
Did we have a women's convention on the weekend? I'm thinking I remember something to that effect.
Correct. The Women's Convention took place last weekend. It started on the Thursday and culminated on the Sabbath also at King's Church. So that, I believe, from the recordings and the reports I'm hearing, it was a success. And so the women would have benefited tremendously from being a part of the services.
How do the men benefit from these experiences that women have, though?
They get an opportunity to bond. So the women would have congregated together. The men certainly would do likewise at their regular churches.
I'm asking, how does the women benefit from the women actually having these meetings? Yes.
Well, it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, that women would be training other women how to be more effective in the homes and in the church and in the workplaces. So I'm sure that the communication, the presentations would have been geared towards empowering women to be more effective.
Okay. All right.
And how men will benefit, I believe that when their women return to the home, they are more likely to, having been empowered with the solid information, biblically sound information, that they see the manifestation in the home.
So do you see that? Do you see those women ruling their men in the homes now, since they are not empowered? Is that where it's supposed to be? I know. I just want to just since we are there on the whole
no,
thing.
But that's not the aim. The aim is to ensure that the women.
They're empowered. The word that you're using is empowered. Right?
The Bible. It's biblical presentations, directing the women to their role, the opportunities for being.
But do you see that as true? Do you see that as really true? Do you see these meetings resulting in our women being more submissive to their husbands and being more in the role of where they want to be, or do they come out thinking that they are supposed to lead the men in all the places and they're supposed to be the priests of the home now? Are you seeing that happening?
Well, I will not be able to speak to that. I think the men.
Well, all right. Well, I just asking. The word empowerment just sounds as if I just leave it there. I know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. It was a curious mind, right? Mm. Yes, I'm hearing you perfectly fine. We hear you perfectly fine, Alex.
We were there multiple times.
we had that one coming up, but then I guess you could do it again, Lady Alice. We were trying to have a conversation, and of course, that community notice board, that notice on the board keep coming up there. So we must know more about the apostolic. Yes. We just enjoying that one this morning. So for some reason, we need to be talking about the apostolic church this morning. So if we can talk, I don't know if the apostolic church are grooming the women as well to rule the men. I don't know how you get to, but let's see if it works there too. I don't know. All right. So see you there at the Apostolic Pentecostal Church. Yeah. Let's go by the Apostolic Church and see what's going on there. You know, Lady Curly Karen, I would say to you that I submit this. I believe that there are some of the men who need some leadership by our women. I submit to that. I leave it there. I don't say anymore. I'm done.
Keeping it there. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
I find it hilarious though. I find it so hilarious.
Oh, let's leave it there.
But I tell you, we just need. We
Always
just
there for a month. Yeah.
I know. I don't want to surprise you guys, but come on. Everybody have feeble hearts these days. I don't want to surprise anybody, and next thing I have to do a defibrillator on your heart. Come on. What's that? I want to thank Elder Riley for the defibrillator training at the Seventh-day Adventist Church coming up in Georgetown later on. And for our listeners this morning, our date to reminded about that one. Let me see if I can pick the date up quickly again, because I may have just lost it a little bit there. So let
It's
me
the
just.
23rd, Mikey G.
It's on the 23rd. So
The afternoon of the 23rd, yes. That they'll be
okay. So
having.
I remember something else happening on the 23rd as well. There's a crusade beginning on the 23rd.
That's the Newlands Seventh Day Adventist. Is a start of their evangelistic series with Pastor Vaughn Henry.
Okay. Okay.
Maranatha is also having their music day on that Sabbath as well.
That's
A lot of
it. Mm-hmm. That's what I was trying to remember as well, because I saw that come up. I want to say good morning to the lady, Sister Tanik Dunbar, this morning. Of course, one of our VIP members at the Savannah SDA Church. Of course, she actually presented that flyer for us, our community notice board. Of course, Savannah will be having their music day on the 30th. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to be an awesome one. Of course, we remember that the Eastern Church just came out of their crusade, their health ministries, and
campaign, and 8 precious souls were brought to the Lord. And so, it was indeed a blessing. And I am really hoping, and we are encouraged to pray for our new babes in the Lord. That they will.
Yeah, that is something. From 50-year-old baby, 50 years old babies. Pick up yourself. All right,
And
Zacchaeus, we are definitely we are just doing our thing this morning. I just want to say, we're not asking anybody permission for this one. I don't think so. I think we don't need permission this time. I think we have, listen, Lady Curly will definitely tell us that, when things are actually visible to you and it's there on the table, it's a buffet, you just take what you need to eat.
Well, I will admit that when it comes to food, I am not very shy at all.
The buffet, you just take what you want, We have a buffet right now going on, and we're just taking what we want from it. I'm not, the things I say, Curly Karen and Lady Elise, I don't make these things up, I don't make them up. What I do is I see things, men are very visual beings, men. Women are too, yes? But men I think, are created a little more endowed with this visualness. We see things, And for our Christian women and men, we have what we call spiritual insight, foresight, and of course, discerning spirit. So when we have all of these things put together, we're not saying the men have it and the women didn't have it. The men and women do have these things, right? So,
You recall, Lady Elise, that at the beginning of this conversation that Mikey G mentioned about not setting us up, and so you know that's
No,
no,
no.
that's some really profound and big statements, and then he leaves it to ponder, and I'm like, okay, where's he going with that? And then you're at, and receive it.
I want to just big up one person before we go. I want to say good morning to the lady, illustrious, of course, Sharon, Eldest Sharon Thompson from the Ebenezer SDA Church. Just want to say that one this morning. I want to say, I want to say big up all my friends at the Ebenezer SDA this morning, and of course, I'm going through so many different changes. Of course, they're having a banquet, guys. How could I miss this one? They're having a banquet. I think we should come back with that one tomorrow morning if I can find it very quickly. They're having a banquet and they're asking us to buy tickets. So of course, Flashpoint will buy some tickets. Yes.
15th of December. 15th of December.
15th of December, we're having a banquet. And the event is geared towards the church building fund. Of course, they're trying to build a center, I think, with some
They
classes.
haven't found. Oh well, I will
I
still to
think
maybe revisit it so that we can be fully informed, so we can
I
share.
think I might have gone off a little bit on the church building fund there a little bit. But I
Okay.
believe that we need it for the church building fund even more because here's where I'm going to go. What about the house of God or God's temple building fund? If we had said that earlier, I think we'd have had a bigger thing. But we want to build it for ourselves again, church building fund. We want it again. Yeah. What about building it for God? Uh,
Marvelous Monday, listeners and viewers. Make sure you make it such. Don't let anything or anyone take that away from you. And with that said, I wish you all a wonderful and a marvelous Monday.
Well, all right. So, of course, stick and stay with Flashpoint. We have lots of stuff coming up. It's 24 hours radio, guys. And, of course, we are here all day and all night. No, we don't sleep in the studio. Come on. We're going to say to you that, continue to support, of course, like and share these videos, our presentations. Of course, for those who have just joined us, I want to say welcome to the breakfast hour. Of course, catch us tomorrow morning, same time, same place. When we do it all over again for you at 6:30 in the a.m., of course. Corey Karen will not be with us tomorrow morning, but we are very much more open that you would be with us tomorrow morning. And of course, have some of these awesome conversations. Of course, catch her on. If you guys are interested to know when she's on Mondays and Fridays and anytime else that she desires. So that's just how it works, right? And of course, she's responsible for the news and she's the one who's now running our newsroom. And I'm telling you, awesome and getting only better. I want to say thank you guys for being a part of Flashpoint. Our VIP members, big up yourselves. Because continue. Your role is always a crucial role, and you have already been there for us. Continue to enjoy Flashpoint as we do this one for you again. Have a great day.
Safe and effective, you must visit a site ultrasound clinic. They're conveniently located at Chestnut Center, Georgetown, Maryland. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure. A side ultrasound imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Third, a side ultrasound